Hey everyone, it's Matt here with Nightrun Studio, and I'm working on Willard. Willard is a game about a climb that matters. You're searching for answers at the top of the mountain, but you aren't just scaling those peaks for yourself. You're also the lifeblood of a frozen village. Every resource you find, every cave you explore, unlocks the world below. It's tight, Celeste-style platforming, but with Hades-like high-stakes exploration. The rewards aren't just progress, they're people. You explore, you fight, and when you eventually fall, you don't just restart. You return home to a village that's growing stronger because of your journey. A village you'll help defend from the nightly raids of a 1980s technopocalypse. It's a nostalgic love letter to ActRaiser and Wonder Boy, wrapped in a quirky 80s mythology that explores timeless questions like what really matters and what's worth fighting for. When we last left Willard in patch 11, the foundations were there, a lone climber and a handful of NPCs. But over the last 3 patches, the game's undergone a total transformation. From a linear platformer where you collect some villagers, into a living, persistent world. In patch 12, I tackled the villager freeze. I wanted the world to feel like it was waiting for you. By activating an old ruin, the Anima Beacon, those frozen statues become your neighbors. And those neighbors now have a full menu where you can view their stats, add combat upgrades, and assign them one of 3 jobs. Patrolling to defend your borders, building to turn scaffolds into homes, or shopkeeping to help prepare for the next climb. Under the hood, villagers now even carry their own inventories, so builders can actually run out of lumber and need to refill their backpacks. Each villager has their own stats, their own items, and even their own dialogue depending on their job and circumstances. I've been trying really hard to make the village readable without overwhelming the player with menus and dialogue, so I added visual icons to show what the villagers are doing, including a little board icon when they run out of work. Speaking of dialogue, I recently moved all of my game's dialogue, even tiny little pop-ups and system notifications, into ink. This is a great narrative tool that makes story writing more like writing a play and a lot less like filling out lonely inspector boxes in Unity. And one day, if I ever finish this game, localization will be way easier because I can just hand over the ink project and let a translator work without touching Unity at all. But honestly, the bigger change is what all these systems are starting to feel like together. For the first time, when I return from an expedition, it genuinely feels like I'm returning home. The village remembers what happened. Buildings stay built, villagers keep working, shops stay stocked, and the world persists. Willard is finally starting to feel less like a collection of mechanics and more like a living, breathing game world. And with the village finally coming to life, it's time for Willard himself to evolve too. Patch 13 was all about Willard's gear. I added equipment that actually changes your appearance and stats. I set up a stat system similar to what you see in Expedition 33. A small pool of attributes that combine into combat stats, health, stamina, and more. It looks simple, but it allows for deep builds behind the scenes, so players get meaningful choices without drowning in 75 different stat types. I've talked in the past about the challenges of making customizable gear for a player that has like 150 different animation poses, but I found some amazing shortcuts this time around to make this a little less burdensome. First of all, whenever I create a new piece of gear, I have to name each piece so I can find it later when I piece together the animations. As you can imagine, renaming 150 animations is a real pain, so I automated it. I now have a script that instantly renames every frame for me. Next is the tedious task of placing every frame of animation into every one of my 50 animations. This process generally takes 3 to 4 hours for every piece of gear. So I automated that too. Now I have a script that takes all the animations from another piece of gear, say my adventurer's shirt, then creates a copy of them, renaming them for say the adventurer's doublet, and then replacing every frame with the new animation frames. If that wasn't enough, I also saved myself 5 to 10 minutes of work on each animation with a third script that finds all the animations in my project and attaches them to the doublet scriptable object so that when I equip it in-game, my code knows which animations to play for the new gear. It may have taken me 4 years of programming, but I'm finally starting to work smarter instead of just harder. Maybe I will finish Willard before 10 years are up. With villagers and Willard coming more to life, it was time to get them interacting more. With patch 14, the economy is officially online. Once you build a merchant shop, you can assign villagers to work there. They've each got custom inventories, and the shop itself is set up with a barter system, sort of like Baldur's Gate. If you want that new blueprint, you'll have to trade enough scrap metal and lumber to make up the value. And because this is a quirky 1980s technopocalypse, the village might be peaceful by day, but the nightly raids are always looming. Finding the right balance between this building a home and defending the world has been the biggest challenge of these recent patches. I've also started the long process of balancing combat and exploration. One of the biggest challenges right now is giving players the freedom to explore the world of Archaea without constantly worrying that their tiny village is collapsing while they're gone. I want the village to feel alive and vulnerable, but not exhausting to manage. I've made progress, but those answers, along with new jobs like the lumberjack and village upgrades like personal residences, those are coming in future patches. More on those next time. Until then, this is Matt with Nightrun Studio. Cheers.